When you open up Plants vs. Zombies 2, it takes you to this loading screen that is a tip below the loading bar. One of those tips says, zombies of a world can be defeated by plants of that world. And I thought, oh really? Are you sure about that? So in this little series I'll be doing, I'm going to test the extent of that loading screen tip. Can I beat Plants vs. Zombies 2 only using plants of their respective worlds? If you're new to this series, I highly recommend you watch the previous videos first, which will be in the description, then come back to this one. But if you choose to stay, here's a quick recap on the rules. Only use plants of the world I'm in, no power-ups, no buying plant food, the only plant not a level 1 is Pea Shooter, Zen Garden is allowed, pre-selected plants will be played if they give our restricted plants, otherwise impossible levels will be skipped, and pre-placed plants will stay where they are. Also shout out to Koala PVZ and Shagrott's Cave for inspiring this challenge. With that being said, let's see how these swashbuckling plants deal with their own crew. The footage being played is me collecting all of the plants in the world so I can begin. This takes a lot longer than it looks. I had to use 2 different sources to get this speed, so let's not waste any time and go back to day 1. I thought I had day 1 in the bag with snapdragons in the front dealing with any and every basic zombie that came in, but I guess they can only do that at level 2 because that's not what happened. I was dumbfounded to find out that the zombie had walked right past it with a sliver of health, and another just straight up ate it. I just wasted 300 precious sun on this failed experiment and had to restart. Kinda pissed that Snapdragon couldn't kill a basic when I swore it could, but it was fine, because a roll of Kernel Pulse handled it just fine, along with some spring beans for any tougher zombies and swashbucklers that came down the middle. Day 2 I remembered I had 3-peater, which dealt with the top 3 rows nicely, along with Kernel Pulse to handle cone heads. On the bottom row stood a lone Kernel Pulse to hopefully kill any seagull zombies. And it was so effective that I actually threw 3 butters in a row to get 3 zombies. Insane RNG, I know. Oh yeah, and somehow there was a total of 5 zombies in the 1 unattended row, so a single spring bean was able to take care of it until the last wave where I had to put another. Day 3 was beaten with 2 3-peaters on the 2nd and 4th rows and reinforcements for coneheads. The middle was easily taken care of with swashbucklers taking repeater damage. That's about it. My usual game plan at this point was Kernel Pulse to stall for a bit, then get a 3-peater where it's most optimal, which expends my entire sun bank. That's why day 4 had a few close calls, mainly on the top row where I didn't have enough sun to spring bean the swashbuckler, so I had to plant it late and then give it plant food to kill it. It was okay though because I eventually replaced it with another further up, and I was fortunate enough to have any bucket heads spawn on top and bottom planks, so Spring Bean was able to plant food them off the map. Day 5 was simple, get 2 3-peaters to cover the only 2 lanes. Or so I thought. I was so lucky that Swashbuckler fell off his rope, otherwise I might have done something unoptimal there and risked this 3-peater getting eaten. But it didn't stop there because I had completely forgotten that seagulls spawn in this level. And the second lane got a bit too crowded, so I had to use Spring Bean's plant food to wake it up, get everyone off of him, and duck under the seagull, which was dealt with by 3-peater. But the double swashbucklers just didn't stop coming, to the point where I had to use Cherry Bomb of all things at the worst time possible. From there, I'm not too sure what happened. Looks like I used a bunch of plant food and won. Whoa, did I just go full survival mode and black out for a bit? Day 6 was our closest call yet. Same general strategy of getting 3-peaters ASAP, but this time so that they cover every lane, not just the plank ones. Then too many seagulls came in. So just butter them up, you say? So did I. Oh no, I'm out of plant food. Oh no. Okay, I literally could have used Cherry Bomb there. What was I thinking? Oh, now you use Cherry Bomb. What are you doing? From there, I got this super lucky Spring Bean, this very unfortunately timed swashbuckler on the Snapdragon, and proof that Spring Bean is OP in this world and this world alone. Day 7 introduced barrel rollers, and way too many zombies at once. I was originally just gonna spike weed any barrel that came in, but 100 sun is surprisingly hard to get when you don't have a sun producer and need it constantly. And either way, I still gotta deal with the imps that emerged from it. Eventually I was with just way too many cone heads at once and the top and bottom rows completely unattended, which was impossible to stop without plant food, and I had to let 3 lanes go to mowers. Not all of them, because I did get a Cherry Bomb in last second, which proved futile. Day 8 was the boss conveyor level, where I went Spikeweeds in the front, Snapdragons right behind, and Kernel Pulse in the back. Bad idea, because not only did barrel rollers constantly pop the Spikeweeds, I forgot swashbucklers exist again. Yippee! Lucky I was given lots of plant food to butter them several times, and eventually scorched the 2 gargantuars that showed up. Along with using the spikeweeds we lost and got back to help the kernel poults deal with the stray swashbucklers. Day 9 was nearly soloed by a 3-peter and 2 spring beans, but the zombies started coming in hordes, so I used a few spring bean plant foods, then used my leftover sun to get spikeweeds to snapdragon. Then bucketheads made me use more plant food. Fairly easy, and it could have saved that snapdragon. Get used to spring bean soloing the first wave, because that's going to happen many times in this run, and day 10 is no exception. After that, I got spike rocks on both planks and snapdragons to hopefully deal with any remaining cone heads. They did not. I had to use spring bean plant food. That plant at level 1 might just be worse than bok choy. Then I got a kernel pulled in each remaining lane to get any swashbucklers, seagulls, and imps? The imp cannon might be the most annoying hazard in this world. Both my long-range plants don't have enough firepower to break through the imps' fires and get consistent damage on the cannon at the same time. The one I do have is too expensive to commit to, and that's not even mentioning it's usually going to be protected by another zombie that barges in. And I have a limited amount of sun to use without a sun producer. So unless I use 3-peter plant food, I always have to deal with its rapid fire, which, as you can see in the footage, I couldn't deal with all too well. So yeah, the challenge part of this run is starting to kick in now. Day 11, I tried to go for a pretty expensive strategy of 3-peters on the open space and spike rocks in the first tiles, which failed spectacularly, thanks for asking. By the time I got 2 spike rocks down, everything was coming in through the planks, which only had 2 spring beans protecting them. Sure, I could plant food them, but barrels are kind of a piece of shit with how they work. It was tossed off the side into the water. Why does an imp still climb its way back up? Also, this bullshit happened.
What? Huh?
Looks like both imps were tossed into the same lane, so that spring bean flung one and the other ate it. Shouldn't the other imp have spawned into the row above? Wouldn't really matter much because either way a spring bean would have gone down. Into the final wave, the only thing defending the planks is one spring bean. Just plant food it. I'm fucking dumb. How did you end up there? That was bad. That was not played well. Yeah, that's more like it. Uh-oh, what about that? Clever. And a few plant foods later and the level was finished. See, that wasn't so hard. Just gotta be mindful about my son. Day 12. Oh, right. This level. Quite frankly, I don't want to play this because we all know how it's gonna go. So what's the point? Day 13 was gonna go fine until I realized... Oh wait, it's a sun production level. That's not good. Yep, that's not happening. We're skipping any and all sun production levels. Day 14 was a last stand level, and I had a clever way of going around it if I do say so myself. 2 columns of spike rocks in the planks to not only kill basics, but also stop any and all barrel rollers while damaging the imps that pop out. 2 3-peters in the back to take care of anything that made it past the spike rocks, and kernel poles and spike rocks on the top and bottom to stop swashbucklers and seagulls. Imp cannon wasn't in this level. It went really smoothly. Plant food and kernel poles I felt weren't gonna bother the seagulls fast enough until...
Yoink!
Where did that other kernel pole go? Whatever. Day 15 started us off with a lot more sun than usual, so I took the opportunity to get another 3-peter on the lanes the first one wasn't covering. Luckily, all of the coneheads came through the lane that had more firepower, so I was safe to stock 2 more 3-peters and cherry bomb any dangerous looking groups until the level was secured. Looks like day 16 took note of our spring bean stalling strategy because we got 2 endangered ones where I would normally place them in a level. I got to farm a bit more sun so I could plant a spike bean on each uncovered lane while the spring beans dealt with all the early wave zombies. It would have been spike rocks if the game just didn't give spike weeds to me. I knew spike weed alone couldn't take out a swashbuckler, so I got a 3-peter to cover the top one. Then another came for the 4th row. Panicking, I got a spring bean behind the spike weed, hoping to push the zombie back onto it, when I was pleasantly surprised to see it got knocked back right into the water. Oh, okay. A few plant foods later, the level was complete, and I had newfound knowledge of our garbage underdog that I would surely use in future levels. Day 17 was pretty much just day 11 again, but no attempt at spike rocks. Just kernel pellets on the plank so they could support the spring beans, and plant food at either, depending on how many seagulls there were. I eventually got a kernel pole in every lane to get imp cannons out of the way, although there was this one close call. Day 18 picked our plants for us, and... Oh, I see how it is. So I went spring beans to deal with the planks during the beginning and eventually got spike weeds on every possible spot where an imp cannon rapid fire could shoot 1,000,000 imps. I also got 2 spike weeds to kill basics so the spring beans could prioritize cone heads, then 2 more spike weeds to get bucket heads flung off. And if anything went wrong, I always had plant food. Yeah, no. Bruh. You serious right now? Are you kidding me? How? 3 in a row? Day 18 had given me an idea on how we could beat day 22. Y'all want to see something satisfying? And now we wait. Might have been the longest yet most satisfying level to watch get beaten. I mean, look at how many imps lose their heads at the same time. Day 23 was one of the easier levels we got in a while. It was simple. Spring bean on ledges, kernel pulse elsewhere, eventually get a 3-peater and cover the spring bean lanes with kernel pulse. Plant food the kernel pulse when the zombies got too close to the flower line, as spring bean plant food isn't as effective without a gap in the middle. I had almost forgotten about the kill requirement, so I also cherry bombed this group over here and I won. Perfect. Kernel pulse. You can stop now. Okay. Good thing butter doesn't stack. Day 24 was a little tricky with the inability to replace these endangered spring beans with spike rocks. So I used spring beans to stall as always, with kernel pole at the endangered ones. This combo would stop swashbucklers when kernel pole couldn't, and seagulls when spring bean couldn't. There was also imp cannons, but I managed to get a 3-peater where more open gaps were to take them out there, and plant food a kernel pole from the bottom one just in case. But the game just had to stack another one on top of the bottom one and cuck me in the ass. I even got a 3-peater down there for situations like this. I did the same strategy again on my second attempt and lost the same bean to the seagull who had just a second ago flung a swashbuckler off. It's also partially the kernel pole's fault because I can't believe it didn't throw butter. Third attempt, this happened. Are you... What even happened there? And why can't you just throw butter? This strategy is going to work because what else can I do? It's all a matter of RNG. That imp cannon ain't going down on its own, but what do I even do about it? 3-peater? That's expensive. That doesn't help too much if there's no butter. Wait. Just gotta get a bigger group to make it more valuable, and that'll have to do. Really? Well, at least I have this. Finally. Wait, doesn't this boss give me pirate seeds plants and pirate seeds plants only? Unfortunately, yes it does. So nothing interesting happens here that doesn't happen on a normal playthrough, besides I guess the only usage of coconut cannon in this run. I mean, hey, it's more screen time than Twin Sunflower. It's alright though. Day 24 wasn't enough of a challenge to make it feel like a final boss fight anyways, so I guess I'll do the outro now. This video could have been up at least 5 days ago if it weren't for storage problems transferring my phone's recording to my laptop and Wi-Fi being weird for a minute, but I'm just glad everything worked out. I'm now pretty sure I have a consistent way to keep my recording saved and just gotta make space for new ones, but at least I got it out between a week or two like I said. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in Wild West if you want to be there.